Hello, everyone. Welcome to the All in Clark County virtual forum on diverse and circular economy. My name is Olivia Burns, and I am a sustainability planner with Kim Lundergren Associates. It's a consultant supporting the Department of Environment and Sustainability in the All in Clark County initiative. You may have joined us for our previous two forums, but I will mention the following objectives for this session, which are to review how climate change affects waste systems in Clark County. We'll also go over some ways that our supporting actions can contribute to supporting a diverse and circular economy. And we will also discuss ideas and considerations that will help our community achieve solutions in this focus area. Before we continue, I will share multiple ways you can interact on this virtual forum, including by calling in on the phone and texting in. You could see the number on the meeting page. This entire meeting page and the live audio can be translated into any language. You could press the CC options on your viewing page and choose the language of your choice. Other options to interact and offer feedback include calling in to hear audio by dialing the 855 number. You're able to leave a voicemail and general comments also on that 855 number. You could write comments in the chat on the right side of the meeting live stream. You could text in your comments on the presentation and your responses to survey questions by texting the exact same number. And if you experience any technical difficulties, please post a comment in the chat and we will get to those as soon as we can. A bit of background before we dive into today's topic. All in Clark County is an initiative to address climate change and create a sustainable community for all, our visitors and our residents. We are embarking on this effort so that Clark County could be safe and a prosperous place to live for future generations. This initiative is led by Clark County's Department of Environment and Sustainability. Switching gears before we really dive into the diverse and circular economy key area, we will be looking at some quick poll questions. So everyone tuning in, you could please navigate to the set of questions by scrolling down underneath this live stream video, where we will see and answer the questions together. We will now take a minute to answer them and look together. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to have Carly share her screen so we could see the questions. Thank you. So the first question for today's poll is, are you currently employed? All right. Next, so it looks like everyone who answered is currently employed. Next question is, what industry are you or have you previously been involved in? So here you could just comment, and these poll questions will also be available after the recording, so feel free to take your time in answering any of these. The next question. Here you could choose which following waste reduction strategies do you currently use on a daily basis? The answers are carry and use reusable bags, carry and use reusable straws and utensils, prioritize purchasing used goods over new ones, combine online orders into as few deliveries as possible, reduce food waste at home and or compost your food scraps, consider the packaging material of new purchases, and other. You could describe different actions you take. Here are the results. We have people who are prioritizing carrying and using reusable bags, prioritizing purchasing used goods over new ones, combining online orders into few deliveries, and reducing food waste at home. Next question is, where is the largest residential recycling facility in the US located? Answers are New York, Clark County, San Francisco, or Los Angeles. Well, if you guessed Clark County, you're absolutely right. We are home to the largest residential recycling facility in the US. And that is it for the quick poll questions. Thank you all for participating. Now I'm going to share my screen and get back to the presentation. All right, now we're going to be diving into a diverse and circular economy. So what do we really mean by a diverse and circular economy, and how are waste and economy linked? Oh, looks like I need to reshare my presentation. Please hold. All right, I think I'm set. All right. So now we're going to be talking about what is a circular economy. Here on the left side, you could see a linear economy, and on the right side, we could see a circular economy. Now, an economy is restorative and a regenerative by design. In a circular economy, economic activities include builds and rebuilds over overall system health. The concept recognizes the importance of the economy needing to work effectively at all scales for big and small businesses, for all organizations and individuals globally and locally. Circular economy is based on three principles: design out waste and pollution, keep products and materials in use, and regenerate natural systems. If you want to learn more about the circular economy, definition, and how societies really rethink this progress, there's a 2-minute video on YouTube that you could watch that will be linked below for you to enjoy. Let's move on to the current state for Clark County. This graph shows the increase of employment by industry in Clark County. And home to the Las Vegas Strip, we can see the increase in leisure and hospitality. Then we could see the significant drop once COVID-19 lockdown took place in March 2020. Here, we could take a look at Clark County's labor market. Despite trending towards higher quality jobs, although slowly, it's still overwhelmingly concentrated in low wage, low skill, and service sector jobs. The 4 largest occupants in the county are retail, salespersons, fast food and counter workers, waitresses and waiters, cashiers, which together comprise 1 in 8 jobs within the county. Of the 20 largest occupants comprising 40% of the county workforce, only 4 occupants offer an average annual wage above $35,000. The relative scarcity of higher wage jobs in Clark County is reflected in the educational levels of its labor force. Here we could see that only 26% of Clark County workers had bachelor's degrees in 2018, which is by far the lowest among peer regions, but a slight improvement from 2010 when 24% of workers were college graduates. Southern Nevada is a popular place to visit for many reasons, and it's becoming an increasingly attractive place to live and work. The population here in Clark County is projected to increase over 860,000 by 2060, and we can expect to host 45.6 million visitors per year. The growing size of our community means additional need for all resources, including water. The key area of diverse and circular economy has these underlying themes. One is to cultivate a fertile environment for small businesses and entrepreneurs. This includes supporting and coordinating activities that underpin entrepreneurship networks, ensure small business owners have the tools and capabilities to scale successfully, and expand community financial services. The second is to accelerate economic diversification, which will help streamline business services, support the growth of health services, fuel lifestyle entrepreneurship in arts and culture and outdoor recreation. Three is integrate the workforce ecosystem, which improves access to diverse choices for training and education for workers and employers, particularly among the region's underserved communities. This also promotes innovative remote and workforce programs. Number four goal is to mobilize stakeholders around community-wide initiatives. Other sub-goals that fall under this goal is to reinforce strong relationships between Clark County and municipal governments, and build fundraising capacity among regional organizations. Number five is promote community-centered design of the built environment. This goal is followed by implementing smart city innovation throughout the county to serve residents and visitors. Improving and diversifying access to mobility options. Adopting and promoting sustainable practices in energy and infrastructure. And encouraging revitalization of distressed areas in unincorporated Clark County. Lastly, goal 6 is to ensure equitable access to resources. This will advance equity in both the workforce and the business community, and sustain and expand streamlined access to county services for residents and businesses. What does a diverse and circular economy include? Well, systems for reducing and managing waste that create value instead of costs, diversified economic development that creates a resilient local economy, and preparation of workforce and students for green jobs and new industries. To work towards our vision of a diverse and circular economy, All In has developed solutions that the county can implement to achieve our goals. Here, we could see a list of couple examples, solutions from other communities, which they have used towards a more sustainable waste system. During the planning process, we used a stakeholder advisory group and community feedback to help pursue a plan that promotes equity, economic development, and that addresses issues the community is facing. Now let's dive deeper into climate change and the circular economy. Changing temperatures and rainfall patterns are the main drivers that lead to climate hazards. These changing conditions lead to heat waves, heavy rain, flooding, and periods of drought here in Clark County and all over the world. Impacts from hazards can do and already affect our economy, public health, well-being, and infrastructure, and the resources we depend on. It is also very important to note that climate impacts do not affect populations evenly. Certain members of our community will be impacted directly and indirectly more by some hazards. Equity is one of All In's guiding principles, and it is critical that we bring everyone into the climate conversation so that our solutions work for everyone and do not make any existing inequalities worse. I encourage you to watch the previous session that covers climate change in Southern Nevada more in depth. You can find the recording on allinclarkcounty.com or the Sustain Clark County YouTube channel. There are 4 main climate hazards that directly and indirectly impact our community: extreme heat, drought, flooding, and wildfires. We expect to see a significant warming here in Southern Nevada. Las Vegas is already the fastest warming city in the US. What has been historically been around for 4 days a year of temperatures exceeding 106 degrees Fahrenheit, we could be seeing 30 days a year, or about a month of days that reach over 106 by mid-century. We are projected to see an increase in extreme precipitation events. We can also project worsening drought conditions. From changing temperatures and precipitation patterns, there are hazards that, again, directly and indirectly impact our regional economy. From our small businesses, food systems, transportation, and tourism, all are vulnerable in some capacity to these changing climate conditions. Sustainable strategies is our next focus on this virtual forum. We will also be reviewing another set of questions here shortly, if you want to scroll down to the bottom of the page and answer them in advance. Under the All In initiative, Clark County completed the Regional Greenhouse Gas Emissions Report in 2019. This report identifies the amount of greenhouse gases that are being emitted by each area of Clark County and the activities that are responsible for these emissions. This inventory points us towards the most necessary and meaningful areas to reduce our carbon footprint. If you'd like to review the report, you can access it on the All in Clark County webpage under the Resource tab. I'd like to point out here in green, you can see that solid waste makes up 12.5% of Clark County's greenhouse gas emissions. The current response to the global climate crisis represents an incomplete picture. This paper argues that putting in place a circular economy is a fundamental step towards achieving climate targets. Such a shift moves us beyond efforts to minimize emissions in our linear system. It offers a systematic response to the crisis by both reducing emissions and increasing resilience to its efforts. The benefits encompass meeting other goals, such as creating more livable cities, distributing value more widely in the economy, and spurring innovation. These attributes make the circular economy a potential contributor to achieving zero carbon. All In completed the technical assessments to understand our opportunities to reduce emissions with the greenhouse gas inventory, as well as where we need to build resiliency to climate impacts, which is highlighted through the climate vulnerability assessment. Here in green, we could see the emission reductions of a high impact strategy of organic waste to energy. Diverting organic matter from landfills is the main strategy for reducing direct emissions from waste. To completely remove organic waste from disposal in a landfill will require development of a system capable of processing up to 860,000 tons of material per year, as well as the logistics necessary to collect an additional separated waste stream. Turning waste into energy resource contributes 11% of reductions modeled for 2030 and 7% for 2050. One example of how Clark County has led by example is in 2005, the Pulverize and Pave program through the Department of Public Works constructed 3 million miles of paved road using recycled asphalt. Now we are going to take a couple of minutes to answer the questions on the Test Your Knowledge page. And like before, we are going to look at the results together. All right, first question. What percentage of Clark County total greenhouse gas emissions are from solid waste? Remember, that was that green section in the greenhouse gas inventory. The correct answer is 12.5%. Nicely done. Question 2. Which definition below is describing a circular economy? We'll give you a few more seconds to answer this question. And if this is a recording, you could also answer the questions at the bottom. All right, the answer for which definition below is describing a circular economy is an economy that is designed to eliminate waste and pollution, circulate products and materials at their highest value, and regenerate nature. Moving on to the next question. What was the employment rate in Clark County in 2021? For those who answered 6%, that is right. What percentage of the employed workforce in Clark County work in the restaurant and accommodation industries, including casinos and hotels? %25% of the employed workforce in Clark County work in restaurants and industries, including casinos and hotels. A quarter. All right, I think that was the last question. All right, just give me a minute to pull up my viewing screen. All right, now we're going to be talking about the All-in Community Plan. On April 4th, 2023, the Clark County Board of Commissioners approved the All-in Clark County Community Sustainability and Climate Action Plan, which diverse and circular economy is one out of 6 key areas within that plan. Now let's take a look into the specific goals and actions within this plan's key areas. So goal number 1, Southern Nevada maximizes utilization of waste resources. And here we could see the sub goals that fall underneath, which is identify opportunities and create local legislation to replace single-use plastics and polyestyrene, support the growth of zero waste and refill shops, and incentivize businesses to offer consumer goods without individual packaging, and develop zero waste toolkits for residents and small businesses. Still on goal 1, Southern Nevada maximizes utilization of waste resources. We have sub-goal 1.2, which is divert all possible, reusable, recyclable, and organic materials from the landfill. Identify resources and implement tactics that remove organic waste from the landfill. Expand food diversion programs and coordination with the resort corridor, convention center, and other food industry sources. 1.2C, create a sustainable materials management task force to assess opportunities to reduce waste from construction, major renovations, and demolition projects. Now, goal 2, the region's economy is diverse and in alignment with innovation and sustainability. 2.1 is foster innovation and sustainability in existing businesses. Build partnerships with existing green business programs that provide education, training, financial, and technical assistance. Goal 2.2, promote the region as a hub of innovation and sustainability to encourage economic growth. Establish incentives to build a sustainable technology industry, such as solar manufacturing, solar process heat, and battery recycling. 2.2b, create a sustainable innovation incubator focused on recruiting and growing businesses that drive innovative climate solutions. And design and promote a travel offset program for tourists and conventions to fund local sustainability programs. Goal 3 is workforce development opportunities are abundant and accessible to all. Develop and ensure access to training and education on skills needed for the innovation economy, particularly among the region's underserved communities. And partner with trade unions to provide worker incentives and host trainings on skills needed for an innovation economy. We will take another break to answer some prompts. You can share your thoughts on the Your Thoughts tab on this public input page. These questions will be open for the remainder of the virtual forum series for you to take your time, think about, and answer. These questions ask about what you think is important for the county to consider in this focus area of diverse and circular economy. If you have a comment and you do not feel like there is space on this page for it, you could always email us. Starting off with the first Your Thoughts prompt is, how would you rate your current waste reduction efforts? I'm not taking any actions to reduce waste, or I am taking all the actions I am aware of to reduce waste. It looks like this is a slider question, so people are agreeing that they're taking all the actions that they're aware of to reduce waste. How resilient do you consider your current job to a changing economy? You could choose either not very resilient or very resilient. We have an average answer that it's a little bit resilient at our current jobs, but of course we could be more prepared for the future. The next prompt for you to think about are what barriers or equity considerations do you think the county should keep in mind when developing strategies and actions for this focus area? Great, next question. The next prompt is what areas would you like to see addressed in the all-in community plan to promote a diverse and circular economy? And here are some just demographic questions. Feel free to answer those as well. But now I'm going to pull up the presentation again. Great, thank you. We appreciate your response in those prompts. Now I'm going to wrap up this virtual forum by discussing how we can be part of the solution. During the planning process, we engage stakeholders and community members to ensure that this plan truly reflects the needs and priorities of the region. The county conducted one of the most expansive community engagement processes of any county project in recent memory. It integrated the expertise, insights, and lived experiences of community members into the planning process through best practices. And here we could see some results. And overall, 50% of those who participated in the survey answered that it is very important for Clark County to lead in addressing climate change. And only 45% believe that the county is only somewhat prepared to do so. Here are more survey results relating to consumption and reuse. 81% of survey respondents are supportive of reducing personal consumption and supporting material reuse. Other comments noted that there's a desire for businesses to promote reduced consumption and packaging. There were survey questions where participants can comment and agree on opportunities for reducing waste or turning waste into a resource, such as restaurants that throw away food could be given resources to compost instead of the food being wasted. So 308 people agreed upon this comment. Another comment that was agreed upon highly was that we must get rid of polyester to-go containers and go to compostable or biodegradable containers instead. Another comment that was widely used was that we need public food gardens where we can compost our waste. We are here to provide resources. You could visit our webpage at allinclarkcounty.com to learn more about how we can accomplish climate action here in Southern Nevada. There, you can get up to speed and stay informed with Clark County's digital resilience apps and ensure that you're prepared for any emergency. There's much more resources that this page has to offer, including learning more about a robust and diverse circular economy. We invite you to continue sharing your thoughts on this topic by answering the questions and prompts on this public input page that we reviewed. We encourage you to register and attend the upcoming forums on the 6 key focus areas within the Community Sustainability and Climate Action Plan. The forum recordings and questions will be kept up on the public input page in case you miss one live. You could always rewatch the recordings and answer the questions. Stay updated with us on the All In website. You could follow us on social media at Sustain Clark County on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Today, we just went over that diverse and circular economy virtual forum. The next virtual forum is on Wednesday, April 19th, which is Sustainable Water Systems. Please join us for that. This format will be similar to this session here, and we'll provide a brief presentation on the topic and opportunities for you to answer questions and leave feedback. Again, all previous sessions are available with a video recording, and the questions you still can answer after the live video is done. We really appreciate you joining us today for the Diverse and Circular Economy Virtual Forum. Thank you for your attention and participation. This is the end of our presentation, but we will continue the live stream and answer any questions that come up in the chat. Feel free to stay on and write any questions you have about what we went over today in the comments, and take a couple of minutes to share your thoughts on the questions. Thank you again.